Hey friends, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Megan and I'm an author. About a year ago, I published this video sharing my goals as a writer for 2025. Today, we're going to see how I did. Goal number 1 was to maintain a content calendar, which was something that I was really good at for the business that I used to have. How did I do this year? Not good. In the beginning of the year, I did go back to using Trello to organize my topics and ideas, keywords, captions, and so on, all across YouTube and all my channels. Then it started to feel like I was just creating more work for myself that I didn't really find necessary, and I stopped. The problem is that I ended up not consistently posting on any of my social media profiles, and here we are over a year later and they didn't see the growth that I was aiming for. That's largely the result of a lack of action. What, if anything, will I do to fix this in 2026? I know that content calendars work, and I'm tempted to set the same goal for myself, but I have no reason to believe that I will follow through. One thing I think I can tweak to make this more feasible is to better plan to batch my content, because I don't always feel like creating content. It kind of comes and goes. But if I can sit down when I'm feeling creative and knock out a bunch of content in one go, I think this will be more doable for me. So my adjusted goal is to maintain my content calendar, but to do all of the planning and drafting maybe once or twice a week, and then that's it. That way, it won't be something that I'm constantly thinking about. Goal number 2 was to spend more time with other authors and readers, both virtually and in person. This I knew was going to take effort from me to be a little more social. I'm more introverted and I'm a homebody. I could never leave the house or talk to anyone and feel fine. This isn't good, especially because when I recorded that goals video, I had just moved to Colorado from Nevada. It was a fresh start. I wanted friends, so I wanted to be better about all of that. How did I do? Not bad. I had originally said that I wanted to attend one in-person and one virtual event a month. It didn't pan out like that exactly, but I did put myself out there. I did go out and I did make friends. Now, it wasn't all a success. I held a meetup at a local coffee shop, and the only people there were my husband and me, but we made the best of it and we had a good time. I also went to a writing conference in downtown Denver, which felt great at the time, but also kind of killed my confidence in writing conferences ultimately. Made a few friends, never spoke to them again, but I put myself out there and I tried. There was a small event for local queer authors at the Spicy Librarian in downtown Denver. I met Anna McGee. I bought a book she contributed to called Blood, Sweat, and Queers, and we're Instagram friends now, so that was really cool. On Threads, I connected with a bunch of local authors, and then I went and created a group chat on Instagram, and I learned that one of these lovely women lives 5 minutes down the road from me. I had coffee with her just the other day. I also connected with a couple of people online who ended up being wonderful people and supporters, like Brian and Heart of Glitter, both of whom are on TikTok, so go check them out. All in all, I count this one as a win, so next year I want to keep this up. Goal number 3 was to treat querying literary agents like a business. In other words, I wanted to be even more strategic and intentional about it than I already was. How did I do? Well, I will say that this was a home run because back in October, I got an offer and signed with a literary agent. I talk all about that experience in this video. Now, I can't and won't say that this came down to having a significantly different approach to querying, but looking back, I know that my query package was stronger than others in the past because I got my first full request from my 5th query, I think, and if I remember correctly, I got 5 requests total out of roughly 70 queries sent. That has never happened to me. I've never gotten results like this before. The tone of the query really matched the tone of the book and was very specific to the genre, which this book is a rom-com. Also, I did a ton of research on Publishers Marketplace before and after writing this book and the query to better understand how to talk about my book, how to package it, what comps to use. I talk about comps in this video, by the way. And Publishers Marketplace also helped me track down agents to query. This isn't a goal I need anymore because I don't need to query anymore. Hooray. I will not miss it. 15 years of querying was enough. It was about 14 years too many. Goal number 4 was to take outlining more seriously. This was another win, and it's one of the reasons why I feel like the last 2 manuscripts I wrote, which were the rom-com and a fantasy romance, are very strong. I've mentioned this book before, Save the Cat. This is still my go-to. I have read and reread it so many times. It is looking rough. I swear by this book. If you want to learn a little more about my process for outlining, I talk about it in this video, which is actually my top performing video on this channel, so go check it out. For 2026, the idea is to keep this steady, especially when I'm starting a new project. Because I'm excited, I feel myself rush through outlining and I always regret it. This isn't to say that you need a crazy detailed outline that's perfect and complete before writing, but for me, I can tell when I'm rushing it and I just need to have a little patience and put in that legwork before I get too far into the writing process. Goal number 5 was to be more confident, maybe a little bit more cocky. I've known for a long time that I'm a strong writer, but it takes more than that to land an agent and find success. And because I queried for so many years with no success or no apparent success, it made me question myself and doubt myself. That feeling really, really sucks. So how did I do this past year? Not great, but better. I still need to work on this. Here's what's interesting though. Yes, I feel more confident after signing with a literary agent, but, and I talk about this in my last video, when I wrote my rom-com, I knew with no doubt that this book was really special, and I said several times, this is the book that's going to get me an agent. I just knew it. I have never felt so sure about my writing, and I was right. That made me stop and think, what would have happened if I had been this confident years ago? Would that have changed the outcome? Would I have gotten an agent sooner? I don't know. I'll never know. But if nothing else, I would have felt a lot better. I talk about mindset a lot in that video, and I've planned another video entirely on that topic. I don't think we talk about this enough, so stay tuned for that. One more thing I have in mind is that while I can keep using the fact that I finally hit this milestone as a reminder that it's okay for me to be confident, I need to be able to believe in myself without any external validation. Like this YouTube channel is no different. One reason I haven't been consistent with posting content is that my videos don't particularly get a lot of views. And admittedly, that wore on me, even though when I first started this channel, I said, and I meant it, I said that I'm doing this because this is stuff that I love talking about. I also enjoy making videos in general. But somewhere along the way, I started looking for external validation, didn't get it, at least not in the way that I was hoping, and I allowed that to discourage me. I need to keep recording regardless of the views, just like I kept writing. And I need to stay confident in myself and my writing without any external validation. Validation will always be nice. I'm not saying I don't want it or like it. I do when I do, but I can't let my joy hinge on that. Actually, I talk about something similar in this video. The link is below. All the links to the videos I've mentioned are below. I want confidence to be my default rather than insecurity being my default. And I have to remind myself to be confident. That takes intention and it takes repetition. In 2026, this definitely still needs to be a goal. Affirmations and journaling help me a lot, and I want to continue being more aware of how I think about myself and talk to myself so that I can move away from fear-based thinking to love-based thinking. Do I have additional goals for 2026? I don't know if it's realistic to post once a day on social media like Instagram and TikTok. I was doing really well on X at one point. My posts regularly started getting over 100 likes or thereabouts. And then I stopped paying for premium and it all tanked. And I actually don't know if that's the reason why my traffic tanked, because I had premium for a while, but my posts didn't always perform well. So the timing didn't line up. But when I didn't renew premium, my traffic flatlined and it's back to being just abysmal. I don't know if I'll pay again. I'm kind of bitter because there are several accounts impersonating me. I don't know why. And X support did nothing to help me. Nothing. The customer support is atrocious. Also, even though I went to my account and confirmed that I did not want to renew it, they continued to attempt to charge me a few $100s. Probably 6 or 7 times. When I emailed them to be like, hey, stop, I got an automated response saying that the email address was no longer active. Like, what is going on over there, Elon? You certainly have enough money to pay for better customer support. So I don't know about X. Instagram is another flop. It always has been. Even when I posted consistently, I've just never been able to be seen there. TikTok is the one platform where I consistently see results. When I post, I get more followers every time. My traffic has slowly but steadily climbed, and all of that motivates me to continue posting. If I can get myself to batch content, I can post a lot more consistently. I just have to force myself. YouTube, I originally intended to do at least one video a week. I kept that up for a minute and then I didn't. The low views were one thing, but also, and I know this might sound bad, I don't always know what to talk about. I don't always have huge updates. I've made very clear that I'm not here to try to teach you or coach you. A lot of people start channels because they're coaches. This is why I've actually considered starting to record more informal, like vlog type videos where I kind of just shoot the breeze about writing, even if I don't have a super defined topic. I don't know if this will work, if these videos will resonate with anyone. Also, that type of video takes a long time to record. Anytime you try to make something aesthetic, it gets harder, it gets more time consuming. I've always prided myself on just giving you the important information, but what if I don't have any? That doesn't sound flattering, but that's reality. I'm not always going to have something earth-shattering to say. But I do want to post more, so that's one goal of mine. Another, I would love to write at least 2 books this year. How exactly this pans out could vary. Currently, my agent is putting the finishing touches on the rom-com to get it ready to go on sub, which means that she starts pitching it to editors. I also did one more round of revisions on my fantasy romance. Once the rom-com is on sub, my agent is going to read the fantasy romance. That meant that I wasn't actively working on anything until recently. But over the last few weeks, we did nail down like a high-level concept for my next rom-com, and I just wrote the first act. So at this point, now I am actively working on the next project. But what happens after this, it depends. We did discuss an idea for a paranormal romance. I'm still noodling on it, so it's too early to really sink my teeth into a manuscript. It's also way too early for me to start the second book in my fantasy series. For all I know, she could read the first book and hate it. So for now, I'm working on this second rom-com until further notice. That could mean I finish this in one go, or I might be pausing it to work on something else. I don't know. But the point is, I want to have 2 complete manuscripts by the end of this year. If I do more, then great. I think depending on the genre, I could do 3. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm very open-minded. The rom-com that got me the offer from my agent, I wrote that in about a month, which is not typical. So I'm not holding myself to that standard, but I do think something about this genre comes a little more easily to me. Other than these things, truthfully, I'm trying not to plan too much because I love planning and I love making checklists and setting a million goals for myself. I do want to keep my foot on the pedal with my writing, but at the same time, I've been burning the candle at both ends for a very long time. I'm completely exhausted from work and life and moving. I've moved a million times and always having multiple jobs. Simplifying, having fun, living my life, those are also important. In fact, they're probably more important than something like posting on TikTok every day. So that's where I am these days. I'm still very driven, very goal-oriented, but I'm also going with it. Just go with the flow, stay calm, stay positive. Good things aren't just around the corner. Good things are also right here, right now, at all times, should we choose to look for them. Thanks for hanging out with me today and listening to my ramblings. This is my first video of the new year. I hope your holidays, whatever you celebrated, were wonderful. I took 2 weeks off from my day job. It was not nearly enough. I thought I would come back refreshed and energized, and I did not. Peanut, my chihuahua, had a stroke last week. That certainly was a bit of a curveball, but here we're thriving. He's right in front of me right now, looking mighty confused. That is his homeostasis at the moment, confused. He's always confused. Poor baby. Drop me a comment and say hello. Let me know what you did over the holidays. Let me know your recent wins. No win is too small to celebrate, so let me be your cheerleader. And I have my next few videos planned, the next few topics, but I always welcome your feedback and your input. So if you'd like to see anything specific, let me know in the comments.